It worked in mice. Worked in mice.
Welcome back to It Worked in Mice, the only health podcast that reads the headlines so you don't have to get your hopes up. I'm Alex.
And I'm Piper, here to remind you that every big breakthrough starts with a little bit of hope. And probably a mouse.
A very hopeful yet ultimately doomed mouse. Speaking of fads that might be doomed, our first topic today is the darling of Silicon Valley and every person who claims to be too busy to eat, intermittent fasting.
Oh, I love this topic. It's everywhere. The idea that when you eat is just as important as what you eat. It feels so intuitive.
Well, a massive Cochrane review, which is basically the Avengers of scientific studies, has assembled to tell us it's a bit of a dud. They looked at 22 different clinical trials with almost 2,000 people.
Okay, lay it on me. What did the Avengers of research find?
They found that intermittent fasting, whether it's alternate day fasting, time-restricted eating, or any of the other trendy schedules, didn't lead to any significant extra weight loss compared to just, standard dieting, or even doing nothing at all.
No significant difference? That's surprising. I have so many friends who swear by it. They say it changed everything for them.
I'm sure they do. People also swear by their horoscopes. The data from all these studies, some following people for a whole year, showed no clinically meaningful benefit for weight loss. The magic just wasn't there.
But maybe weight loss isn't the only benefit. I've heard it can help with discipline or just making you more mindful of when you're eating. For a lot of people, the main problem is late-night snacking. A simple rule like no food after 8 p.m. can solve that, right? The structure itself could be the benefit.
So what you're saying is the benefit of this complicated eating schedule is that it stops you from eating so much. Groundbreaking. That's what a diet is. They just gave it a cool name in an app. My grandpa called it closing the kitchen after dinner. He didn't write a bestseller about it.
You're being dismissive. It helps people create a framework that works for them. If a time-based rule helps someone break a cycle of mindlessly eating chips in front of the TV at 11 p.m., then it's a good thing, isn't it? The review even noted that side effects weren't consistently reported, so it's hard to know the full picture. The evidence base is still limited.
Limited is one word for it. The conclusion is that it's not a magic bullet. It doesn't outperform just getting some basic advice about eating less junk. So all those people meticulously watching the clock, chugging black coffee until noon, they could have just eaten a smaller dinner.
Okay, fine. Maybe it's not a miracle cure for weight loss, but it's not harmful, and if it helps people feel more in control of their eating habits, I still see that as a positive. It's a tool, not a panacea.
A very trendy, overhyped tool. Let's move on to something that's definitely not good for us, no trendy rebranding required, sugary drinks.
Oh no, I have a feeling this isn't going to be good news.
Is it ever? Speaking in a serious, informative tone, a new review from Bournemouth University found a consistent link between teens who drink a lot of sugary beverages and an increase in anxiety symptoms.
Ugh, that's awful, and it makes so much sense. We always focus on the physical stuff, like obesity or diabetes, but the mental health impact is just as important, especially for young people.
Exactly. The researchers point out that mental health is often overlooked when we talk about nutrition. They looked at a bunch of studies and the pattern was clear. Sodas, energy drinks, super sweet juices, even those flavored milks that pretend to be healthy. More sugar, more anxiety.
Ugh, and anxiety is already such a huge issue for that age group. 1 in 5 kids and adolescents had a mental health disorder in 2023. This is just one more piece of a very scary puzzle. How did they measure it?
It was all based on survey data, so it's about correlation, not direct causation. The kids reported how many sugary drinks they consumed and also reported on their mental health symptoms.
Oh, so we can't say for sure that the soda causes the anxiety. It could be the other way around, right? A teen who is already anxious might reach for a sugary drink for a quick comfort boost or a burst of energy.
That's the classic chicken or egg problem in this kind of research. Does the sugar cause the jitters and mood swings, or do the mood swings cause the craving for sugar? It's probably a vicious cycle. You feel down or anxious, you grab a soda, you get a sugar rush followed by a crash, which makes you feel worse, so you grab another one.
It's a trap. and these drinks are marketed so heavily to young people. The article mentions it's not just the obvious fizzy drinks, but sweetened teas and coffees too. Those are hugely popular.
Of course, because iced tea sounds so much healthier than sugar water with a hint of tea flavor. It's just another reminder that what we put into our bodies affects our brains just as much as our waistlines. So, the next time someone tells you to calm down, have a soda, maybe don't.
It feels like an easy thing to change, but also so difficult because of how ingrained those habits are. It's a tough message to hear.
All this talk about anxiety-inducing drinks is making me want one. I think I need to go mainline a soda to process this information. Give me a minute.
It worked in mice. Worked in mice. That sounds real nice. Sounds real nice. Will it work for you? Let's find out what's true. It worked in mice.
And he's back. Did you find your fizzy comfort blanket? Do you feel less anxious now? Kidding. So while you were contemplating the evils of sugar, I pulled up our next topic, and it's a fascinating one. It's about replacing one vice with another, potentially healthier one.
Intrigued. Are we replacing my soda habit with artisanal kale juice? Because that's a non-starter.
Even better, a study from the University at Buffalo found that people who started drinking cannabis-infused beverages cut their alcohol consumption by nearly half.
Huh. So they're swapping their beer for a bubbly bud soda? I'm not sure if that counts as progress, but okay.
Hear me out. It's all about a public health approach called harm reduction. The idea is that while complete abstinence from things like alcohol is great, it's not realistic for everyone. So the goal is to reduce the negative consequences. And the research is pretty clear that alcohol, especially heavy use, is linked to a huge number of diseases, including at least 7 types of cancer. Cannabis generally presents fewer risks.
Fewer, maybe, but not zero. We're just swapping one set of risks for another.
That's the core of harm reduction. It's not about finding a perfect, risk-free solution. It's about finding a less risky one. In this survey, nearly 2/3 of the people who used cannabis drinks said they either reduced or completely stopped drinking alcohol. They also reported binge drinking less often. That's a significant positive change in behavior.
I guess reducing binge drinking is an undeniable plus, but is this really a solution, or are we just creating a whole new market for a different kind of intoxication? I can already see the commercials. Tired of hangovers? Try our new THC seltzer.
Nodding in agreement. The lead author of the study, Jessica Kruger, said that's exactly the point. It's a new concept, thinking of cannabis as harm reduction for alcohol, but she acknowledges it'll take a while to become mainstream. These drinks are still pretty new.
So this is less about a proven medical strategy and more about observing a trend. People have a new legal option, and they're using it to replace an older, more dangerous one. Makes sense. I just wonder what the long-term effects will be. We have centuries of data on alcohol, not so much on daily cannabis seltzer consumption.
Agreeing thoughtfully, that's a fair point. More research is always needed. But as a first step, seeing people voluntarily move away from a substance that causes so much damage is pretty hopeful, don't you think?
Hopeful is your department. I'm just picturing a future where family barbecues are a lot quieter, and everyone is staring intently at a potato chip. Let's shift gears from mellowing out to, well, the opposite. Our final story is the epitome of an "it worked in mice" headline.
I'm ready. Hit me with some wild, futuristic hope.
How about this? Viagra and the shingles vaccine show surprising promise against Alzheimer's.
What? Seriously? That's the most random combination I've ever heard. How on earth did they connect those dots?
It's part of a field called drug repurposing. Basically, it costs billions and takes over a decade to create a new drug from scratch. So scientists are looking at drugs we already have, drugs that are approved and known to be safe, and seeing if they can work for other conditions.
That's brilliant. It's like finding out your toaster can also make coffee. Confirming excitedly, so an international panel of experts reviewed 80 existing drugs to see which had the most potential for preventing or treating Alzheimer's.
And the top 3 were unexpected. The shingles vaccine, Zostavax, was number 1,
followed by Viagra or sildenafil, and a drug for motor neuron disease called riluzole.
The shingles vaccine is the theory that some viruses might play a role in Alzheimer's, so a vaccine could help?
That's one of the leading theories, that certain infections could trigger the neuroinflammation that leads to dementia. So boosting the immune system against something like the shingles virus might have a protective effect on the brain. It's a fascinating lead.
And what about Viagra? I mean, what's the connection there?
Don't look at me like that. The proposed mechanism is that it improves blood flow. Alzheimer's has a vascular component, meaning the health of blood vessels in the brain is crucial. Sildenafil works by relaxing blood vessels to increase blood flow. So the theory is, it might do the same for the tiny vessels in the brain, improving oxygen and nutrient delivery, and helping clear out the junk that builds up.
That actually makes a lot of sense when you put it that way. This is so exciting. 1 in 3 people born today will develop dementia. Finding a cure is one of the biggest challenges of our time. To think the answer, or part of it, might already be sitting in our medicine cabinets is incredible.
Now, let's pump the brakes. This is the definition of preliminary. The panel just identified these as the most promising candidates for more research. Please, this doesn't mean you should start taking Viagra to protect your brain. Please, nobody do that.
Of course not, but it gives researchers a much faster and cheaper path to potential treatments. Instead of starting from square one, they can jump right into clinical trials with drugs we already know are generally safe for people. It cuts years off the process.
True, it's a shortcut, a very logical one. But it's still a long road from a panel's recommendation to a prescription for your grandma. Still, I'll admit, it's a bit more promising than being told your trendy diet is pointless.
See, I knew I could find a glimmer of hope in you somewhere. In a concluding, upbeat tone, from fasting fads to brain-boosting vaccines, the science never stops.
And neither do we. That's all the time we have for this episode of It Worked in Mice. We'll be back next time to tell you which vegetable is the new superfood and which one is secretly trying to kill you.
And I'll be here to remind you it's probably going to be okay. Thanks for listening.
This sounds real nice. Will it work for you? Let's find out what's true.